How's it going, guys? Welcome back. So we left off in the last video inside the content folder, and if we go to the low poly section, we should have all these folders complete with the textured models. So first things first, if everyone's done that, we can continue. And if you haven't, go back to the previous video and just ensure you did that following the steps. Now what I want to do is go to the viewport here, and I want to delete everything off the scene by holding shift and selecting it. And I can also zoom in, and I can get rid of this third person sign. I'm going to look around, ensure that's everything, and then I'm going to hit delete on the keyboard, and that's going to delete that. And now we have this shadow here, and this shadow is here because the light was baked on this template. So to go about getting rid of this so we can actually start, we're going to go to the top where it says build and select this drop down for the build options. And we want to go to bake the lighting again, but before we do so, let's just change the light quality from preview to medium. And I think I set mine up so it's always here. Production is when you're ready to ship the game, so you have the right kind of quality, and it takes longer to process as well. So leave it on medium, and then we'll go to where it says bake lighting only, and we'll just click that. And now it's going to basically compile everything. So if we had objects on the scene, it will be compiling right now. And on the bottom right, we'll see something that pops up and it shows us where the progress is in the light build. And once that's done, the shadows will be removed. So now that the shadows are removed, what I want to do is start dragging our finished and textured models onto the viewport. And be aware that the orientation is going to be a little off because we didn't set it inside of Blender. So with that being said, we'll just do it after we import all the models. So what I want to do is dive into the divider textures. And remember, guys, if you are confused right now, you don't know where you are, we want to be inside the content folder. And inside the content folder, low poly. And then you can just choose one of these. So the divider, I'll drag and drop this model onto the viewport. And I'll go back to the low poly folder, and I'll drag the door textures, door model into the viewport. And then I'll continue until I have all my models on the scene. Alright guys, so we now have imported all our textured models into the scene, and what I want to do is basically toggle back on this. If it's toggled off, like enable the snapping objects, because if we don't, if we try to rotate something or move it, it's not going to move incrementally. And what we want to do is turn that back on and toggle back on the grid as well. And notice at the top left it said lighting needs to be built. So we'll build that later after we finish orienting and setting up our scene. And first things first, if we hit F11, we can maximize this viewport. And what I'm going to do is just rotate all of these in the right direction. So right now what I'll do is select everything except for the floor panel, which is this one here. So we can move that to the side if need be. And we want to select everything else by holding shift and selecting them. And once we have all 10 of these objects selected, we can press E on the keyboard. Remember, that's the shortcut for rotate. And we can just rotate this 90 degrees on this axis. So move this 90 degrees and we have it this way. Now what we want to do is press W to go to the move tool, and we'll just slide this up a little bit so we can see all the models. So now what we want to do is start organizing our scene a bit better. So let's grab this door, what is this, the door frame, and let's move this down lower. And notice the orientation of the pivot is off. So we didn't fix this in Blender, but there's no worries. We can do it here inside of Unreal Engine. And to go about doing that, what we want to do is hold Alt and middle mouse click on the model. So if I hold Alt, middle mouse click anywhere, I now set the pivot there, but if I click off of it, it's gone back to its original place. So what we want to do is hold Alt, select the area that we want the pivot to be, middle mouse press. Now we want to right click and go to pivot and go to this first one which says set as pivot offset. Now if you click off the model, we'll have it oriented correct. So we're going to do that for the rest of the models. We're going to fix the orientation. So we'll select this trim, hold Alt and the middle mouse button, select, right click, and then go to pivot, set pivot, and do this for the rest of the models. And then, yeah. So I hope this is making sense to you guys and it's not going in one ear and out the other. And you really have to just practice this stuff. So the things that I'm teaching you in this video are really just fundamentals for you guys to create your own environments. So this is really powerful and it's really quick to do. Alright guys, we're done setting the pivot, and I think it's a good time to end this video, and we'll continue in the next one.